No parent should have to do what many had to do last semester, and that is sit in the parking lot of a fast food restaurant so their children could use the internet to get their homework done. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Everybody talks about the price tag for this legislation. $1.75 trillion. It will not cost the taxpayers a penny. If you're making less than $400,000 a year, you're not going to have your taxes go up one single penny, not a cent. And guess what else? It also means that there is no increase in your taxes, and people are going to just pay a fair share. And I want to thank County Executive Frank Wright. He lived the life I'd hoped to live. He started off as a laborer. He helped build the Royal Stadium. As a player, he's one of the best to ever play there. And now he's a county executive in Jackson County, resident and a business as well. You know, I mean, this guy's done it all. Under the leadership of mayors like, our mayor here. Now, today, the average price you're paying here in Kansas City is below $2 a gallon, $3 a gallon. It's down to $2.90 a gallon. 20% down from a month ago. Nationally, prices are down 7 cents a gallon and continue to fall. You know, the fact is that you're looking at Mr. Amtrak here. I've traveled over, this is God's truth, I've traveled over 1,250,000 miles on Amtrak. Everybody thought that, anyway, because I went home every single night after my wife and daughter were killed because I couldn't afford a home in Delaware and in Washington. So I commuted every day. I remember one day, as vice president, the government keeps fastidious records of how many miles you travel on government planes. And so there's a big headline. Biden travels, I forget it was, 1 million miles on Air Force Two and so on and so forth. And I'm getting on the train to go home, which the Secret Service, they're great. They're with me here today, all 800 of you. But all kidding aside, they're wonderful. And I was getting on the train because they didn't like me getting on the train, Congressman, because it's more dangerous circumstance. You can stop people and fix on tracks, et cetera. But I would going home to see my mom, who was sick. And one of the conductors I know for years walked up and grabbed, said, "Joey, baby," grabbed my cheek. And not a joke. And I thought that he was going to get shot. True story. And I said, no, it's okay. We've known each other. He said, "Joey, big deal. 1 million miles," or wherever it was, 1 million miles on Air Force Two. Come on, Joey. You know how many miles you travel on Amtrak? I said, "No, Angie, I don't know how many miles." He said, we calculated it at the retirement dinner. He said, 36 years, 119 days a year, back and forth. Then as vice president, he said, "We figure you've done X number of trips. It adds up to 1,200,000 miles on Amtrak." And I said, if my dad were here, he'd call it a misspent adulthood. But union. The time of losing is over. It's over. Thank you. Child care gets workers a raise, and child care workers get a raise they deserve. Folks, look, in Missouri and Kansas, the average annual cost to send a toddler to child care is $6,500 a year. If you live in Chicago, it's more like $22,000 a year per child, okay? It means that the average family with 2 young children is spending roughly 20% of their after-tax income on child care. $20 out of every $100 they have. Our Build Back Better bill is going to make a giant difference in life because your child care cost will be capped at 7% of your income. My whole plan is designed to bring down the cost you face. For example, lower cost for child care, making you don't pay more than 7% of your income. Means a family making $50,000 a year will save $3,000 a year on child costs. Study found that my plan would mean the equivalent of $7,400 in tax cuts and savings for the typical family of four with two kids. And guess what? Let's talk about inflation. It's real. There's inflation. But 17 Nobel winners of the economics have written a letter just about 3 weeks ago to me affirming that this bill would ease long-term inflationary pressures in the economy. Two of the leading rating agencies in the world, the Wall Street Journal, confirmed my plans do not add to inflationary pressures. Not liberal think tanks, Wall Street, Moody's, and anyway. Look, there's so much we can do. So many things that are within our power. If you went to the average American family making 60 to 70 grand, or you went to a family where dad was a teacher and mom was a police officer, they're making 120, they're paying at a higher tax rate than someone making $1 trillion. $1 billion. For real. The law helps rebuild when I announced for office, I said I was running for 3 reasons. President Obama, he was back to my right. And I went back and I made sure I was talking on his left ear because it was all he was down the hallway. And I whispered what I said. How in God's name anybody heard it, I have no idea. And I shouldn't waste your time and tell you this, but we were going to go from there over to the Department of Transportation. Department of Education. And I walked out the back and got in the presidential limo on the driver's side, the back seat. The president, he was already in there, and he was laughing like the devil. He was almost hysterical. I said, "What's so damn funny?" And he told me. And I said, "You're just lucky my mother's not alive. I'd be one dead man." Look, before I began, all the data shows that if you get from point A to point B at a faster rate by rail than by automobile, you take the rail. And guess what that does? First of all, it's safer. But secondly, it's going to save over time millions of barrels of oil. Millions of barrels of oil. Because it's electric.